around like that at age 58. So I want to get that out the way first. But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul. Now, unlike people who've worked with me, unlike people who are friends and colleagues, what have you, I didn't find it funny.
This is kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank.
Even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
Stephen Ace. Smith blasted Jake Paul for taking on Gervonta Davis, saying Jake is simply too big for him. He explained that Jake keeps choosing fights that don't truly test his ability, calling this matchup one-sided and uncompetitive. According to Smith, Jake avoids opponents who match his level, exposing how his boxing choices focus more on easy wins than real challenges.
That was Mike Tyson. Now you're going into the ring against a cat that's 228. He's a young lion. And no matter what questions may exist about Jake Paul and his ability to box real boxers, because we haven't really seen that yet from him, we don't question his power. Mm-hmm. We know he's got power.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith has asked Gervonta Davis's coach which opponents he believes deserve to share the ring with Tank next. The coach didn't hesitate. He made it clear that anyone who has spoken negatively about Davis should be the first to step up. Names like Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez were mentioned as fighters who have publicly questioned Tank's ability. For the coach, this isn't just about rivalry but respect. He believes these men need to experience firsthand what Tank's power truly feels like. The intention isn't just revenge for the words spoken. It's about silencing the critics who keep doubting Davis's dominance. From his perspective, it's time the talkers get humbled inside the ropes and feel the reality that Tank's skill set delivers.
Who do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his training, that's like a father figure to him, you're training him all the time, you know him, both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down to, we working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight? That's the question.
Comedian and commentator Aries Spears didn't mince words when sharing his take on the event. To him, the upcoming fight feels more like a performance than a pure sporting contest. Despite calling it a circus, Spears still places his confidence in Davis's strength and precision. He imagines Tank ending the spectacle early, predicting a knockout by the third round. What stands out is the contrast between his criticism and admiration. He recognizes the promotional absurdity surrounding the bout, but respects Tank's efficiency as a finisher. Spears' view captures the mood of many fans who see this matchup as both ridiculous and fascinating. It's entertainment wrapped in skill, where even critics can't deny the possibility of Davis closing the show with a brutal statement before the fight gets too far.
The next fight that's coming up is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Oh, this is such a circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored -240, Jake Paul's +190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fight.
I'm predicting a third-round knockout.
Ooh. Third round knockout.
He's out of there. Listen, I don't know what's the bigger joke, that fight or Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is honestly just disappointing. As a boxing fan, to just keep seeing these circuses happen over and over again.
I don't know if the rumor's true, but I heard Floyd was talking about coming out of retirement to fight Crawford. Now that's got some panache to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
but I think Floyd will end up taking a loss.
Finally.
That's the thing. He'd mess up that record.
Yeah, and I would respect him for it because we know how much he's tried to protect the record. Take the risk. This is what great fighters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because people were saying that Terrence Crawford should retire because he's, 43-0 at this point?
Okay.
He's 37 years old. I personally don't think
But he still got the goods, though.
Oh, he's got the goods.
Yeah, he still got the goods.
Because Canelo was a monster. Had been dominating for a while.
Right.
And he had only had 2 losses, one of which was Mayweather, very early in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis thing, it's just because Gervonta was supposed to fight Roach. There was supposed to be a rematch because it was, I believe, a draw last time.
Yeah.
So you go and fight Jake Paul instead? I'm sure it's a much bigger bag. I'm sure it's a much bigger bag.
And clearly, that's what it's about. It's the bag, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have Denzel Washington fighting somebody. They're going to start putting old men. I mean, they're already putting old men in the ring.
As long as before the fight, Denzel looks at his watch and goes, 16 seconds. I'm with it.
Stephen A. Smith, known for his outspoken nature, wants to see boxing move past the spectacle-driven trend. He believes Gervonta Davis should focus on meaningful matchups that test his limits rather than exhibition-style contests that do little for his legacy. Smith specifically expressed interest in seeing Tank rematch Ryan Garcia, a fighter who still carries unfinished business with him. He also mentioned Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson as ideal contenders, fighters who could push Davis both mentally and physically. Smith's point is simple. Fans deserve fights that matter. These are the types of bouts that define champions and restore the sport's competitive spirit. He doesn't want Davis's talent wasted on non-serious events, but showcased against legitimate challengers who can sharpen his greatness.
To me personally, I want to see him fight a Garcia again. I want to see him fight a Teofimo Lopez, somebody like that that's got some power, somebody that has the potential to inflict some pain upon him, because I don't know if anybody can do it. And I've totally lost it with David Haney. After what I saw Ryan Garcia do to him, even though Ryan Garcia was a bit bulked up.
A growing number of boxing commentators are losing patience with Jake Paul's approach to his career. They argue that his recent fight announcements follow the same pattern, selecting unusual opponents that generate attention rather than competitive intrigue. Many experts believe these fights are designed more for headlines and viral clips than for advancing Paul's credibility in the ring. They note that he often avoids opponents who are evenly matched in experience, weight, or technical background. While his events attract millions of viewers, critics say the entertainment value comes at the cost of authenticity. The spectacle overshadows the sport, and the storylines often sound scripted rather than spontaneous. For purists, this is the reason Paul remains more of a showman than a true professional contender.
Performance. Jake Paul won the fight. But yeah, that was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he'd lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul, was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds, and Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total disrespect to boxing, in my opinion.